on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Your place for the daring, do bad, and good
Hello,
buck tales
everybody,
of the hockey
and welcome
community.
to the
But
ERSCA
since
Belly
this
Up
isn't a hockey event, I won't
Belly
take up
Up
any more of your
series
time.
here on Belly Up
Feel
TV.
free to check out the
in
podcast
partnership
wherever
with
you get your
3YTV. Dom
podcasts.
Santino with
New episodes drop
David
on Monday,
Westergreen
Wednesday,
and Emily
Friday.
Harlan. Of course,
But
we got
until
Carlos
then,
back in the
raise
booth
hell,
with us again
praise
this week
Dale.
doing the
Wake
producing.
me up when we get to
Well,
Talladega.
we were talking
Let's go
about it
race some
pre-race
drivers.
before we came on. Quite the dramatics last week with 20-some cautions. We'll see what it breeds this week. David has a guess that we're going to see a lot of green flag racing tonight.
Yeah, that's my guess. I think these guys have learned a lot from last week. They're going to try to spread it out. Auto Club in California is such a wide racetrack, a lot of room. The tires are going to burn off. These guys are going to be fighting against the racetrack and against the tires and against their car. So there won't be too much room to be bouncing off of each other and causing those extra cautions like we were seeing last week. This is the kind of race that falls right into points leader Ryan Lutz's hands, I think. He's very, very good at these kinds of things. But Ethan Burrell, fighting him for that championship, those two guys are the guys we're going to want to watch out for because they are going to be fighting, dog fighting for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. We come into tonight with Lutz holding the championship lead. Burrell just 16 points back, tied with Nick Massey for the second spot. And then it's 23 down to Tate Lytle and 25 back to Cameron Rich to round out your top five.
Yeah, and I look for some of these guys to try to pull off some crazy shenanigans to, get into the top group. There's pretty clearly a kind of a gap between Chris Wright or maybe Matthew Weeks really and Adams on back to the last four. Guys like Gerald Campbell, they might want to try to play fuel strategy a little bit differently than everyone else. Short pit if everyone goes long. Go long if everyone else short pits. Just do something different that the points leaders aren't doing because, you never know if you can get back involved in this race and in this points race to the final. We don't have an elimination format. This is classic chase, so it's best man from here on out. As many points as you can accumulate in a given race, that's what you're going to get. We can start off our picks tonight, too, I think. We can let Emily go first. Coming off a vacation, Emily, how was that? And then, who's your pick for tonight?
Hey, yeah, vacation was amazing. I was down in Mexico soaking up the sun, like Carlos's little graphic said there. Sunburnt, Emily Sunburnt Harlan is my new nickname, I guess, which I'll take it over the Jinx Queen. I don't want to jinx anybody on this race. My pick, I'm going to go with Ethan Burrell on this one. Just going off of what he was saying on Twitter, he said that this is a really good track for him, and he knows that, he has to make sure that he gets a good amount of points tonight. He said he wanted to make sure he kept Lutz out of getting a lot of points. So I'm going with Ethan on this one. What about you guys?
Dom, you want to go next? Or you want me to go?
I can go.
I'm
going to go. We've seen two of our top three guys in points take a win already this season. Burrell with the opener in the playoffs, Lutz last week. I'm going to go with Nick Massey. Going to say that he's going to jump in here and make it a three-car race for the championship.
I think that's a good pick, too. Mine is going to be a little more out of left field. I'm going to go with Matthew Bayuk. We run a league on Thursdays. Carlos is the producer for that one. And Bayuk won our truck race at Auto Club there. So I'm going to stick with Bayuk in this one. He tends to be pretty fast on these bigger tracks where he's got a lot of space, can drive the car a little bit. I'd look out for that whole team. Him and Nick and Delicato both probably going to bring some quick pieces tonight. Oh, and Carlos is going with Cameron Rich, trying to get him, the fifth place man in points, back in to the championship 4. No one's picking Ryan Lutz, really.
I was thinking about it, but I didn't want, the repeat winner. I don't know that we've had that this season, so I was a little unsure of picking that, so I stayed away from it. But I think he's going to do well here at this race regardless.
Ryan Lutz, it's so difficult to pick against him because this is the kind of track that Lutz is going to lead a lot of laps. A tire burning track where he can just float it off into the corner a lot easier than everybody else and ride. The tires burn off. Lutz tends to get better and better. It's going to take a Herculean effort by some of these guys, but I think all of us have picked guys who can do it. Though Bayuk, it would be the first win of the season. Rich, his third win of the season. Same for Ethan Burrell. And then Nick Massey's second win of the season if he were able to get that tonight. So qualifying is now underway. We'll see who lays down the best lap and gets that good early track position. I think this will be a track position heavy race.
Now, one thing I wanted to kind of mention, guys, if we do have some time, is all the cautions that happened last week. Did you guys hear of any tempers kind of flaring after the race with the guys?
Yeah, so one of the things I saw after, and that Johnny Thomas went ahead and posted, was that Nick and Delicato and Jeff Green bounced off each other in the race last week. We were on replay trying to determine if Jeff had intentionally run into Delicato or if it was Jeff's fault. While we were doing that, Nick and Delicato drove through the whole field and spun Jeff Green around on track and showed his displeasure. I thought that was kind of humorous. We were trying to figure out who was really in fault, and Delicato felt like he knew. He told us exactly what he thought. Other than that, I haven't heard anything, though. I think these guys have put Martinsville mostly out of their minds with 22 cautions and a very late night.
We'll see if anything carries over to this race, but it seems like everyone's kind of turned a page and ready to, start a new race, not carry anything over, and try to get some points here.
Hey, early pole run for our Daytona Road Course winner, Chad Baer. Remember, Baer took home that Daytona Road Course race after Nick and Delicato, who was away from everybody else on track, ended up in the wall thanks to a lapped car and ended up with an expired motor. So Chad Baer with an early strong run in qualifying, that's somebody that I think we kind of sleep on. He's always seems to be up in the top 10 in these, especially these big tracks, and I think those are really the only tracks that he's run here in the ERSCA series. So I'm looking for Chad Baer to maybe sneak up here and have a really good run.
Well, he just got topped by Nick Massey going to the top of the charts with a 42.236. Just about 600ths of a second faster.
See if anybody else can put down a board. I think that at Auto Club, the draft is really important. It's not going to be anywhere near like Talladega, which we have later on as Ryan Lutz stops his car on the infield wall. It's not going to be like Talladega, but it will create a scenario where these guys going down the straightaways, they can't really get away from each other because of that draft. It'll suck the cars right back up. So if two cars line up on the outside, that front car will pull another car past someone else. So where Colin Fambro lines up on the board, not in the top 5, it looks like.
Sixth fastest with a 42.354 for Colin Fambro.
Yep.
We're all going to be right below him.
Wow. Yeah, and you'll note up at the top, and also, Carlos has it when he has the side counter, the side ticker. The red outlined drivers will be, the playoff drivers outlined for us. So if you have any questions, if the drivers like Tate Lytle here are involved in the playoffs, you can just quickly check their banner, and Tate absolutely involved in the playoffs in that 56 car. Someone we haven't really talked about, but he's been strong at all these big tracks. He was on a mission to win at Michigan. I believe he did win at Michigan, and he won in Atlanta. Jeff Green. Green's been here in real life a time or two. Oh, the basketball player. No, the 2000 Xfinity Series champion. Come on now. Massey, Baer, Weeks, Lutz, and Wright, the top 5. Ryan Lutz not able to secure that bonus point for winning the pole. That'll go to Nick Massey.
Tate had a bad qualifying run there.
Yeah, and Tate Lytle and Josh Adams, a couple of guys looking to really capitalize on this bigger racetrack with fewer cautions that can kind of provide their strengths. Those guys going to have to move through the field on a track position centric racetrack. So watch for those guys to move in their way forward. I think this is going to be a really good race. Auto Club usually brings good racing on iRacing. Nick Massey, your pole sitter. And that'll be a bonus point towards Massey's championship quest. He's going to need to keep that up if he wants to catch that guy right there who's also spawned in 4th, Ryan Lutz. And we'll take a look at the starting grid now. Massey, Chad Bear, Matthew Weeks, Ryan Lutz, Chris Wright, the top 5. Ethan Burrell, Colin Fambro, Cameron Rich, Brandon Scott in 9th. He had a really good run last week, was very, very strong up until getting kind of taken out in some of those incidents. Dylan Thomas starting 10th, the dirt winner in that 03 car. I would not count him out at this track either. He's been kind of strong everywhere we've gone. Brandon Key and Matthew Bayou rounding up that top 12. Championship hopefuls Gerald Campbell, Josh Adams there in 13th and 14th. They'll have to make their way forward. Gerald a bit of a long shot after missing the first race of the chase. Richard Lafferty, Josh Clark, Tate Lytle coming from 17th on the grid. That'll be difficult for him. Harrison Talon, Jeff Green, Joe Francis, the Daytona winner. Scott Crump, Josh Robin, Jared Mogard, the lowest chaser. Mogard's really going to have to step up his game if he wants to get from 23rd to the top, but Mogard's going to have a chance to do it, I think. He'll have a lot of long green flag runs to get it done, and then on back you see the final 7 or so drivers, including Johnny Thomas, and what is a chaser in James Teeter, though he is pretty much out of the playoffs at this point, the lowest driver, over 80 points behind points leader Ryan Lutz. Sub-driver also to mention Casey Hatch filling in for Jordan Owens tonight in the 45 car. We are ready to start engines and get going. Don't have a sponsor for it tonight, but we'd like to thank all the sponsors we do have. Belly Up Sports, Harpoon Designs, everyone who has a partnership with ERSCA Racing. So that also includes the Batflip podcast, Mrs. Goody's Goose, which is the title sponsor of tonight's race. Drivers come off pit road for the first and only time. We'll take a look at the temperature. Track temp 127 degrees. That tells me that the tires are going to wear brutally quickly. Our eye on whether or not a lot of these guys try to undercut the fuel run. I imagine you won't be able to make it all the way to the end of the fuel tank. You'll have to pit for tires earlier on. Field cycles around. We get ready to go green for race number 4 in the chase for the ERSCA Cup. Nick Massey, Chad Bear, Matthew Weeks, what? Top 4. Pace car is off, and here we go. Green flag to start up race number 4, the Miss Goodies 200. Massey goes, and we are underway. Massey settle in. Here's the lap and pick up another bonus points, chasing down Ryan Lutz.
Chad Bear going to slot into that second spot. He's got Lutz to his outside now, though. Looking to come down the backstretch. So looks like Lutz is going to get the run. Might be able to clear Bear here before he heads into turns 3 and 4.
Yep, Ryan Lutz going to have to work that outside lane, though. He and Ethan Burrell both nose to tail behind the race leader, Nick Massey. So Burrell and Lutz trying to use this early stacked up group on the start of the race to make up as many positions as possible. Lutz into second, Burrell into 4th, and Ethan's looking for 3rd.
Yeah, right on the rear bumper of Chad Bear. Here comes Ethan Burrell. Going to dive to the inside here. Look underneath now. Might try to go 2 for 1. Going to slide up just behind the bumper of the 36 car. It was tight, but he fit that 37 car in there. Chases Chad Bear up the hill just a little bit, heading down the backstretch.
That's going to allow Ryan Lutz to get away from Ethan Burrell just a little bit, but if Lutz is able to clear Bear, that will create a top 3 scenario for a top 3 in the points.
Here comes Matthew Weeks and Chris Wright behind them as well, trying to track down Bear.
Bear holding strong on the outside, though. Very difficult to pass on iRacing in this Xfinity car. Now that there's a little bit of a grip strip in that outside lane, you can definitely run the top. It's just probably preferred, especially on new tires, to run that bottom groove, short way around. the fast way around. But once the tires wear, I think you'll see guys migrating up to the top, trying to take care of their stuff, float those cars into the corner a little bit more, not scrub off speed on the tires, which is what Ethan Burrell did do entering turn 1 there on the second lap. And I think he might pay a little bit of a price for it here. Loses third to Chad Bear.
Bear now hanging in. He's settled in that third spot after starting on the outside of row number 1. Now he's going to look to go back after Ryan Lutz in the second spot.
Yeah, Bear definitely not a slouch here at Auto Club. He was our race winner in that Daytona Road Course. This completely different, obviously, but he has run with us, running top 10 in Atlanta, I believe. Ryan Lutz not really chasing down Nick Massey. Massey currently able to set the pace. Lutz kind of just following in his tire tracks. We'll swing back to the middle of the pack where Tate Lytle and Gerald Campbell are doing battle.
Yeah, and I know the three of us talked about it before we came on the air tonight. Guys might be a little bit more hesitant this week to stuff it in there and make a move after everything that went on last week, but I think David mentioned it as well already. A little bit tougher here to pass at Auto Club as well.
Looks like Brandon Scott slid just a little bit through there. Wasn't able to get a big run on the outside, but now you can see the effect of the draft as Scott is able to be pushed side by side with Tate Lytle into turn 1. But Lytle able to clear him entering the corner, and that's a slide job, if you will, and that'll allow Campbell to get alongside of Brandon Scott as well in the 31 car. Those guys are moving forward.
4-car breakaway up front now as Burrell has pulled away from Weeks. Yeah, now here comes Lutz under Massey.
Battle for the race lead up at the front of the field. Ryan Lutz trying to take the lead over Massey. He would negate Massey's early lap sled if he could get to the stripe first.
At the line, it's going to be Nick. I think Massey got it by about a wheel.
Yeah, but that's not going to be good though, because Ryan Lutz can drive it hard into this first corner.
Lutz going to try to slide up, can't get there. Massey's still hanging on that quarter panel. They'll drive off side by side down the backstretch once again.
And I want to just rave on the points format here. This is creating an intense battle on the 5th lap. What if Nick Massey can prevent Ryan Lutz from leading a lap today? That would be massive in terms of the points battle between these two drivers. Chad Bear shoves Massey back to the lead. Lutz now in the clutches of Ethan Burrell. So Lutz not able to get that lap led. Might have heated up his tires a little bit, and now Ethan Burrell's all over it.
Yeah, a big run there by the 48-91 car of Massey, and Bear coming out of turn 3. Push that 48 car back to the lead, Bear back to the second spot, and we're back to where we were about 2 laps ago.
I want to just comment on Matthew Weeks. He tends to take it easy early in the run on these tracks. Remember, he was in contention at Darlington because he held back early in the runs and saved up his tires. Burrell going after Ryan Lutz for 3rd. That would be a big position, but Lutz in that outside line able to defend. Might just give it up to Burrell here. That's not Ryan Lutz's style, though.
At the line there, side by side. Advantage going to go to Burrell. He'll take over the 3rd spot. Lutz back to 4th.
And Lutz
here comes Chris Wright under Weeks as well for the 5th spot.
I don't imagine Matthew Weeks will be. He's defending the spot, but I don't know that he'll stay there on that defense. Matthew Weeks, like I said, kind of trying to hold up and keep those tires fresh as long as he can. And Chad Bear's going on the outside on Nick Massey. Battle for the
lead again. Here we go. Bear this time. Playing spoiler here with all these points, guys. Going to get the run. He'll take the lead away from Nick Massey.
That'll allow Ethan Burrell to get to the back bumper of the 48 now. So top championship driver is Massey, but not the race leader. That's Chad Bears. Massey's now going to try to chase him back down. Did Massey maybe overdrive it a little bit, trying to hold off Ryan Lutz?
Here comes Massey, going to take a look to the inside here in 1 and 2. Not going to be close enough to do anything. Burrell will close up just a little bit more as they come off the corner.
Some great graphics and information here for the 37 of Ethan Burrell on your screen. Letting us note, his lap times, best lap, ahead, behind, all that. Very, very good little informative graphic.
All three have closed in on each other. Lutz back to the bumper of the 37 now of Burrell.
If I had to wager, I'd say you're going to see a rubber band style race all day long. You're going to see guys pull out, get ahead of people, and then kind of fall back to them because the draft just very strong with these cars. That combined with the aging of the tires and the ability to heat them up so quickly, as Ethan Burrell's going to take a look underneath Nick Massey. Might not be the play, though. Ryan Lutz is in the draft on the outside lane.
3 against 1, top lane to bottom. We'll see where Burrell can stick it. He's going to dive underneath Massey here. Lutz kind of running a middle line between the two. Going to see who's going to get the better run off the corner. Coming back to the stripe we go. About even.
Ryan Lutz switches to the inside lane. He'll go with Ethan Burrell. Oh, he faked him out.
Massey held that second spot over Burrell by half a tire there at the line. Now they all go to the high side again. Burrell going to dive to the bottom. Try to go under Massey. Now take a look under Chad Bear as well.
That 37 car very, very fast. If he's able to make moves like this all by himself against the 3 cars around him in the draft, Burrell getting through these corners better, I think, than the cars around him. Just can't get the group to work with him to get him the race lead.
Yeah, Burrell definitely handling better through the corner. The 3 cars team up, though, just to gain a little bit momentum exiting here. Burrell will slide up through 3 and 4 and tuck into that number 2 spot. Lutz going to dive underneath Massey now for the 3rd spot, try to take the run and see if he can move up a position.
Everyone behind them singling out. You know, they're not really racing in this second pack. This first pack dicing it up here early in the race. Wonder if those guys behind might, take advantage 20 or 30 laps into this run and run these guys down and kind of push them to the back. I think Matthew Weeks is already starting to eat into the lead that had been gained on him a little bit through that first section of the race.
Top 3 in points, sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, swapping it back and forth. Here comes Massey again, going to take a look under Lutz this time. Not going to be close enough to make a move. He'll slot up, hold on to the 4th spot for the time being.
Yep, back here, you got Josh Adams into the top 10, in 10th spot behind his teammate Colin Fambro. We'll have to see if Adams can kind of make a move here. He had been looking to take advantage of this race, to get back into the points format. He is 30-some-odd points out. And, Cameron Rich just in front. He's going to need to shove on by these guys, especially under green flag pit stops, if Josh Adams is going to want to get any significant points gains today.
Ethan Burrell under Chad Bear down the backstretch. Now looking to take the spot away into turn 3. Burrell going to try to clear him.
That's huge. That's huge. Ethan Burrell clears Chad Bear. Great camera work by Carlos, and that will signify a lap led for the 37. Another bonus point picked up by a competitor of the points leader, Ryan Lutz. Lutz has not led a lap just yet. Keep an eye on it, see if Lutz can get that extra point back, and every single point is very important. You know Ethan Burrell's plan is to lead every lap from here on out. That's what he absolutely wants to do, as Lutz now underneath Chad Bear for 2nd.
Yeah, these guys, like David said, back and forth we go. Lutz just got a fender underneath that quarter panel of Bear. Now he's going to get a run through the corner. Not be able to clear him. They're going to make contact. Ooh. Up the hill goes Bear and Lutz. That's going to open the door for Nick Massey to slip underneath.
Is that going to open it up so that Ethan Burrell can get away from this group and start running lap time on his own? Burrell now half a second over Massey. That could be a pretty significant advantage. The real loser on this is Chad Bear. He falls into the clutches of Weeks into that second pack.
Yeah, and Weeks is gaining on these guys up front. You can see that that distance between what is Lutz now in the 3rd spot and Weeks shrinking every lap.
Yeah, here's the multicam to give you guys that extra perspective of the contact between Lutz and Chad Bear. I think it's just going to be that 36 car starts to slide ever so slightly with the car pinching him down on the top lane. Yep, right there. 36 car just starts to cup the track, and there's a car already there. Can't keep going.
Bear has fallen back to the 6th spot. He's under attack right now from Chris Wright for that 5th spot.
He keeps running
Thomas
this top
will be
lane.
next. Now he's in the wall. He is all the way up into the wall.
That's
definitely trouble for the 91 car.
It's not the groove for Chad Bear. He's back to 9th now. Colin Fambro working his way around. And yeah, there's damage on the left front of Chad Bear's car, so I think the handling may have gone away on that 91 after he bumped into Ryan Lutz there, exiting turn 4 a couple of laps ago.
Burrell was able to pull away a little bit. Now Massey and Lutz have teamed up together. They've closed back in a little bit. Still a little about 3-car gap between Burrell and Massey, but that is now closing as here comes Nick Massey back to the bumper of Ethan Burrell.
See, the draft has just rubber banded these guys back together after the spacing. Burrell's lost a bunch of time, but I don't think that's because the 37 is running particularly bad laps. I think that's just the nature of this racetrack, bringing these guys back to his rear bumper. He's just going to have to keep fending them off. This Auto Club just produces great racing in this sense because it's so difficult to break free and get away. Even with older tires, these Xfinity cars draft so well that it creates a difficult scenario where nobody can really break free from anybody else.
Nick Massey all over the back of Ethan Burrell now for that race lead. We'll see if he makes a move heading off into turns 1 and 2, working on lap 18 of 100.
They're still running that really, really high line, and it's really not working with that 91 car. He continues to fall back. Josh Adams now a spot further into the top 10, and Tate Lytle's going to try to get into the top 10 here if he can get around the 91. Massey for the race lead.
Yep, Massey underneath Burrell entering 3. Can he hold it through the corner? He's going to get a run entering. Burrell might get the run out of the corner. We'll see when we come back to the line.
Massey and Burrell, as much as they run side by side, that will open the door for Ryan Lutz to get a chance at grabbing that bonus point. 20 laps into this race, he still hasn't led a lap in that 36 car.
Once again, just like 3 and 4 into 1 and 2. Massey can get the run on the low line. Burrell going to carry the speed a lane higher. Should be able to at least hold the lead, maybe not clear Massey coming out.
Yep, Burrell able to fend off Nick Massey, but how much damage did that do to the 37 car's tires? And Ryan Lutz into the second spot. He'll continue to charge for the race lead. Drives it deep into turn 3, and he'll wash it up a little bit as Ethan Burrell gets a good run off the corner. I don't think Lutz is overdriving it, though. That's just exactly how Ryan Lutz likes to drive these types of racetracks. He's going to bury it deep into turn number 1. Lutz likes to use less brake than everybody else. That allows him to get through the corner a lot faster than everybody else. The guy is just very, very talented behind the wheel. Battle for the lead and also battle for the 11th spot. It looks like Tate Lytle has gotten into the top 10.
Lutz and Burrell still side by side. About half a car for Burrell entering the corner. Lutz going to make a run in side by side through 3 and 4. Burrell going to get the run off. It's going to be close at the line. Lutz might be able to get it this time.
It's going to be close. Not there yet.
Ethan Burrell by a nose.
Wow, and that was a 0.00 on the board and on the scorecard. So for now, 21 laps in, they have been able to hold Ryan Lutz at bay, but not any longer. Lutz does have the nose up in turn 1.
And while these 3 continue to battle, it continues to give opportunities to Weeks and Wright to close in. They're starting to really close in on these 3 cars up front.
Yep, Lutz not able to keep the side-by-side after the draft with Massey and Burrell working against Ryan Lutz. This battle between the top 3 cars almost looks like the championship race early.
Yeah, this is a fun one to watch. It's almost like we're in the final race of the season right now, the way these 3 are throwing punches against each other. But now here comes Weeks. He's almost in the mix here, and he's bringing Wright and Josh Adams with him.
Cameron Rich. Yep, Rich as well, the 47 car, 5th in points. So all these guys, top 6 all, championship hopefuls, top 7 in fact, and 9th. So the whole chase has worked their way to the front of the field here in Auto Club with the misfortunes of Chad Bear. And everyone is kind of making their way into the race lead here. They're trying to get after these guys. Ethan Burrell holding strong right now, though that 37 car looks very, very good.
We got 3 new players because they have arrived now. Here comes Wright and Rich. They're going to drop to the bottom, try to take a look under Weeks. Wright has poked underneath Weeks here about 6 or 7 times already and has not been able to make the move. And we'll see if he can get it done now as Weeks kind of left on the high side here.
Yeah, Matthew Weeks did not run that corner the way he wanted to, I don't think, but it may let Cameron Rich draft with the Toyota car as well. A couple of Toyotas there battling against these Chevys. 3 Toyotas, 3 Chevys. No Fords to be seen. And yeah, He's able to hold off Chris Wright for now. Wright, another one of those guys who's, you know, we've seen Chris Wright struggle when he over abuses his tires early in the run. But when he holds back and gets that car right, boy, he can be very quick.
Lutz under Burrell for the race lead.
And Ryan Lutz entering turn 1 might have surprised Ethan a little bit. And he's going to clear him. A big move by Ryan Lutz.
New race leader, Ryan Lutz, going to try to get his first lap led. Here comes Nick Massey with a run underneath Burrell now.
Burrell just tries to draft right up onto the back bumper of Ryan Lutz. He's not going to be able to get underneath him there. Massey's still below Burrell, and that will allow, that will allow Ryan Lutz, I think, to lead his first lap of the day and negate the laps led by Massey and Burrell. So another chapter in the points, the battle for the championship. Ryan Lutz, the race leader here. Took him 26 laps to do it, but he is finally up front.
Massey on the bottom, Lutz and Burrell paired up together, a lane higher. Burrell and Massey will come out of the corner side by side with Lutz out front.
Massey is not able to clear Ethan Burrell. It seems like that 37 car, when it gets in behind somebody, it is just so quick that he's able to just get right back to whoever passed him. Burrell's car just seems to work really well in the draft. And I'm not entirely sure Massey's car works anywhere near that well down these straightaways. Massey just seems to not be able to completely pass it. We've seen both Burrell and Lutz make their way to the front, multiple times for each one.
Yeah, they're going to start to encounter the first lap car of the day here in probably maybe a lap or so.
Yep, that's interesting because we never got a green flag run this long at Martinsville. We were not able to encounter those lapped cars. It looks like we got the first one running the outside lane on the wall. These guys are just kind of sorted it out single file. Matthew Weeks has not been able to make any inroads on Nick Massey, and Cameron Rich has gotten past Chris Wright. Lytle working on Colin Fambrough for the 8th spot. Guys are going to try to make this a 2-stop race, though we are coming up to the point of if these guys do want to make a 3-stop race out of this, they would pit gear coming soon within the next 5 or 6 laps.
Travis Braden, the lap car, moving out of the way for the leaders, making it easy on everyone.
Yep, well appreciated. Cars hold their line and run somewhere that the leaders can stream around quickly. Looks like we've got about 25 or 26 cars. Maybe even 30 cars within this kind of first lead pack. Everybody else, to some degree, fallen off, but it's pretty consistent for this first group. Joe Campbell has entered the top 10. 31 car is the first chaser in this second pack. Jared Mogard has worked his way all the way to 13th. The battle between Josh Clark and Jared Mogard. That one's really, really close. Clark loses it. Bayuk trying to block Mogard. Bayuk trying to get past Dylan Thomas. Thomas running that 03 up on the wall, making it very tough for these guys to get on by. Bayuk into 11th, Mogard into 12th. The Chasers have come towards the front here in this race. It's all red all the way down. Battle for 4th as Matthew Weeks goes after Nick Massey. But currently everyone kind of holding station with those aging tires.
Yeah, it looks like we've kind of settled in here in the middle of this run, just everyone hanging on to their spot. And Burrell gets a little bit of a run on Lutz there into the corner, but he's going to lose it through the center of the corner.
Yeah, Rich, I'm curious. Oh, we got a spinner. I think that was the Braden car. Might have been I'm not sure who that was. 78 car. Yeah, Braden. He was a couple of laps down there. Guess he just lost it exiting turn 1 there, kind of going down the front straightaway. We can get it up on multi-cam here and see if we can't pick out what happened to him. Lead still single file. Well, there it is, off the corner. Bounced it off the fence. It's a good thing the caution didn't come out there. That would have shaken things up, I think, quite a bit.
Let's just pulled a little bit of a gap now over Burrell. Burrell pulling away just a touch from Massey. And they're stacked up Weeks, Rich, right behind Nick Massey.
Matthew Weeks is kind of the aggressor here, or is Cameron Rich? Can either of those guys get around Massey? Massey seems like he's the weak link of this first draft as Burrell and Lutz have been able to pull away. Here comes Weeks on the inside of Massey, trying to make that inside line work. Weeks gets loose. Here comes Cameron Rich.
Yeah, that did not work for Matthew Weeks as well at all. That car got way loose in the corner, and Rich is going to get a run to the top side. We'll see if Wright will go behind him and help him out or not, but it looks like Weeks might be able to hold his spot here in the 4th spot.
Burrell running a top lane this time through. That's a little bit curious, and he's going to lose a good bit of time to Ryan Lutz. I wonder if the tire's going away on this 37 car. I wonder if Matthew Weeks heated up his tires a little bit too much, but with everyone on these older tires, it's just very difficult for anyone to make any passes. You can just tell these guys are, struggling for grip every which way. I don't think anybody has been able to save their tires to have a distinct advantage, except for maybe this guy, Ryan Lutz.
I think you read my mind right there, Dave. I was watching Cameron Rich drive up on the back of Matthew Weeks, and it looked like he had a little bit more drive in that 47 car, but now that even looks like it's going away as Chris Wright gets a run in there. So, yeah, wonder if Weeks got his tires a little heated, but I think, like you said, everybody's going away. Here comes Tate Lytle back here in the 7th spot, getting a run on Josh Adams.
We cannot count out our Michigan winner, Tate Lytle. The sister track to Auto Club Speedway. Tate is up to 7th, that 56 car on a mission after starting very, very far back in the pack. Adams and Fambro, a couple of teammates, Mike getting side by side. The top 8 all playoff drivers. Fambro, the first one not in the playoffs, in 9th. He's followed, I believe, by 2 playoff drivers in Campbell and Mogard.
Josh Adams pulling off there a little slow. He's going to be the first one to come down pit road here on lap number 34.
Adams dividing this race into thirds directly. He will be pitting one time here, and then I believe one time at lap 66, 67, and that'll be it for Josh Adams. No one trying to make this race on 3 stops. I think maybe you could, but that certainly probably wouldn't be the winning strategy. Adams, though, being the first driver to come to pit road, that does give him a certain advantage, as Massey does clear by Ethan Burrell.
Weeks going to come with him. Look to the inside. He loses. I think that 11 car is really loose there on the bottom. He had a run on Burrell and just lost it. And now here comes Lutz and Weeks to pit road.
And Cameron Rich. I think Rich might have been a little quick there. Those guys closed up a lot of ground on Ryan Lutz. We'll have to watch out and see if those guys have to stay in their box a little longer for that extra pit stop.
That would almost force Massey and Burrell's hand, you would assume, right, to come down pit road this lap?
Yeah, I would think so. You don't want to lose any of that time and any of that track position to Ryan Lutz. But then again, I mean, if there's guys who have decided we're going to stay out until the fuel is empty, I mean, that's the play.
There you see Josh.
Their strategy. Sorry, go ahead.
Josh Adams just blew by all 3 of them as he was briefly lapped, but now on those fresh tires blows right back by him and regains his lap. All the front 3 will stay out here. Once again, they're going to get, so it's a about a lap that you lose, roughly. Just basically shy as Rich and Weeks are getting up to speed. Lutz will stay on the lead lap.
Yep, Adams
He's
will
out
as
in
well.
front of Josh Adams here.
Yep, Weeks is right there trying to stay in front of these guys, but he's going to have to let the leaders, cede that inside lane to the leaders here. And Massey, Burrell, is anyone pitting here on this lap? I think Massey might be.
No, he's going to stay out.
Yep. We'll see the speed difference. Tate Lytle does come down pit road from 4th spot. Lytle had driven a really, really good race so far, been able to move all the way up into this top group, racing for the win. Here comes Weeks. You can see the difference of tires versus none. Cycle back into the field. Josh Clark, this is the battle for 10th. Thomas Sherman in front of Clark, Brandon Scott. And there's a lot of guys on fresh tires trying to get around these guys.
Well, now with where we're at now, you got to just, I'd be looking around lap 50 for these front 3 guys to come in.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't know if they can make it to lap 50. That's the question, right?
No, here comes Burrell right now.
Yep, they can't. Burrell stays out a little longer, hoping for that caution. Doesn't get it. 3 wide coming off turn 4, though. Definitely a bit of a moment here in the middle of this pack. There's Matthew Bayuk, one of the chasers, and just kind of streaming around him are a bunch of these guys on fresh tires that are a lap down.
Well, and David, we've talked about it before. This is where if there's going to be a caution, it's going to come when these guys on fresh tires are trying to get around the guys on old tires and they're trying to get on and off pit road. This would be the opportunity. Tate Lytle just got his lap back too.
Yeah, Massey and Wright kind of staying committed to the strategy of staying out as long as possible. A bit curious, kind of as we mentioned, these undercuts are going to get a lot of track position on Massey and Chris Wright. That will send them pretty deep into the field. The question now is, how far back are they going to be, and can they work their way back up through? With all that time, we have 60 laps to go. This race has gone green the whole way so far. The real question is, do any of these cars who have fresh tires run over somebody who doesn't and cause a caution?
Nick and Delicato into the 3rd spot now. Campbell up to 4th. Mogard, your top 5.
Yeah, an impressive drive by Delicato as well. We talked about Lytle moving forward from the back. And Delicato just went absolutely crazy. He's gone from about 29th up to 3rd. And really, that's about 10th on the racetrack between Gerald, Bayuk, and Delicato. But, that specific spot, Delicato's driven through 20 cars.
Campbell took a look underneath in Delicato, but now he's going to lose a little bit of time. Fall back into that 4th spot. Dylan Thomas going to thread the needle between the 2 of them.
4 wide, basically, right there, coming off turn 2. But a lot of room here at Auto Club. Pretty easy for those guys to make it work. The slower cars on older tires, allowing those lapped cars with new tires to come on through.
Chris Wright is underneath Nick Massey here, trying to make a move for the lead.
Might be a little too far back to make that one work, though. I think he's still a half second off. At least on our timing and scoring. He's still a little bit back. Driving in deep, though, so he can't make it work. There he goes. Chris Wright trying to grab a bonus point and stay in this championship hunt. And this is going to be while Dylan Thomas and Harrison Talon try to unlap themselves. And Wright will pick up this lap lead, it looks like.
He's definitely cleared Massey, and you wonder now if you're Nick, if you're going to come down pit road. Now that Chris has got by in, nope, they'll stay out for another lap.
They might be trying to make this race on one stop. I wonder if they can do it.
That's what I'm thinking, David. I think these 2 are going to run it until it runs dry.
That's certainly a difficult strategy. You might have to save fuel going back down the second run here. But, these 2 guys do work together pretty well. I think they are teammates. So, are they considering running this thing together? Are they going to try to make it on one stop? If they do, I think that's the race-winning strategy, if you can do this thing on one stop.
Well, you think maybe that was planned then, that Wright took the lead, let Massey draft a little bit off of Wright here and maybe try to conserve just a little bit?
Not sure. You know, it's a matter of whether or not those guys can make it to 50 laps. I just don't know. Maybe they just try to do all their fuel saving next run when they have fresh tires and they're kind of clearing through Ryan Lutz. They know he's going to have to pit. Do you choose the next run to save your tires or save your fuel? Have you been saving your fuel? Is the fall off, the tire fall off from fresh tires to new tires, or from new tires to old tires, 50 laps, is that enough for Ryan Lutz to pit twice, one whole extra time, and still drive around and catch you?
Well, we're 6 laps away from that halfway point here. And now, Dave, that's a good point, especially for Massey here. You almost have to stay out at this point to pick up those extra points at the halfway point. Those would be some big points right now.
That's true. That's huge. Massey and Wright would be able to cut pretty deep into Lutz's points lead, even if they were only able to finish a couple of spots behind him. That kind of gain would just be massive for those guys. And Lutz seeing 12th, he's currently out of the points. So the question is, can Ryan Lutz get into the points? Can he fight past Josh Clark and James Heater and get into that top 10, get some points anyway? I mean, he could hold Ethan Burrell and Tate Lytle and all those guys out because those guys are much further behind him.
Yeah, so now I think it not becomes a question of if, it's how are they going to make it to that 50, that they got to make sure that they get to that halfway point and pick up these points.
This is dangerous for sure. I think 4 laps to go. And, they could run out of fuel too. I mean, we don't know how much fuel they have. I'm guessing they can make it 50 laps. And the strategy thus far for guys like Ryan Lutz was always pit twice, go ahead, get your tires. But do they have enough? I think Matthew Bayuk's been saving. He has fallen way back in that 29 car. He's lost spots to guys who were well behind him at the start of this race. Bayuk's almost back in the clutches of James Heater, who was running outside the top 20. So, is he saving fuel trying to pick up these halfway points? I think he is. And could he save too much? Could he fall outside the top 10? Are any of these guys going to run out of fuel? Big questions here as we approach halfway.
David, I have the audio on my stream or on my iRacing as well, and I can hear these two letting off the throttle entering the corner. They are definitely conserving fuel right now. They are coasting into 3 and 4 about midway through, and then picking it back up.
It's good, yeah. They're definitely trying to keep things close to the chest here. Johnny Thomas is way out of it there at 3 and 4. Might have been letting by cars on fresh tires, but Gerald Campbell's, I think he's going to try to go by these guys.
Yeah, he's going to try to take over the race lead here.
Campbell must think he's good on fuel. He drives it hard into the corner. Wright's going to have to give up. Nope, he's going to hold him off. Massey gives up the inside lane to Gerald Campbell there. Tries to fight back though on the outside. Here comes Massey. How much gas do you have in order to make that?
I think Campbell might be out. He's slowing pretty considerably here.
Oh, man.
Or it might be on the verge.
Scott Crump there as well. Does Campbell come down pit road?
Nope.
I mean, there's nothing to lose if you're Gerald Campbell, right? But Campbell way slower than those guys here at 49. So I think we have 2 laps until it goes.
Yeah, he's out.
Oh, yeah, Campbell's
definitely
out. He's back under power a little bit. But Wright and Massey way ahead of Gerald Campbell now. They've extended that lead drastically. These guys are going after 10 points. How big that is. I don't think Campbell's going to make it.
No. He's still got a pretty good speed going on, but still got quite a bit to go, too. Yeah, he is out.
He's falling way off. Campbell not going to make it to the start-finish line. Yeah, Campbell's out of gas. Wright and Massey trying to make it one more lap. Campbell will make it to pit road. Got to be careful not to speed with no speedometer. It's going to be close for Gerald Campbell. Wright, Massey, Scott Crump, James Heater, Matthew Bayuk, the top 5. Lutz is into the top 10. Adams into the top 10. Rich into the top 10. I think that'll also put Ethan Burrell in. Yes, Ethan Burrell is in the top 10 now. You've got to be careful if you're Gerald, and he does make it into pit road. Gerald will not get bonus points as they come down to get him. It's Chris right ahead of Massey. Do they make it all the way on fuel? I don't know if they do, or we already hit it. We already hit the lap. We might have hit it because Wright and Massey are coming down pit road.
This time by would be points, so I think they feel safe even to come down pit road to get those points maybe.
Yep. Crump's going to get the first point. Heater the second. Bayou gets third, I think, there. Then Wright and Massey are going to get fourth and fifth, and Lutz is right here at sixth.
So it didn't work out as much when it comes to the point situation, but still, we'll see. This may be the play here to be able to make it halfway through.
Well, they just discovered that they can definitely make it all the way to the end of the race. Those guys got all the way to the line. They just couldn't get back around. So next time, you don't have to go back around. You just have to make it to the line. And they're going to have good speed on Ryan Lutz. Lutz is going to have to pit again. Scott Crump, James Heater. Oh, no, Crump's going to crash it. That's going to bring out the caution. No, it's not. Crump kept it off the track. What a job by Scott Crump. Though the issue for Crump, he gets on track right there. Nope, no caution yet. If Crump can't make it around, though, if he's out of gas, he won't be able to stick. He'll have to tow, or he'll have to bring out the caution.
We'll have to keep an eye on that 51 car.
He might be out.
Massey and Wright are back on track now. They're trying to get back up to speed.
Crump's out of gas. He's way out. Very slow is the 51 car on the bottom of the racetrack. And if that thing keeps on slowing down, well, that could be the caution. So a big mistake for Scott Crump, we've kind of run into that all season long for the 451 car. Just a various number of mistakes and issues and things that are maybe even out of his own nature, out of his own control. Kept this 51 out of the playoffs and fighting for the championship for the second year in a row.
I think he's going to be able to make it, though.
Yep, no caution from all this. Ryan Lutz, the race leader. Cameron Rich, second. Josh Adams, third. He short pitted and gained 5 spots on track. Ethan Burrell is now fourth. Tate Lytle, fifth. Matthew Weeks is sixth. And Lytle just drives around his teammate, Ethan Burrell.
I think Burrell was the big loser in all of this.
Yep, he waited a really long time to pit, and the tires equaled out among all these guys, so he's not really able to move forward. Matthew Bayuk unlaps himself. Bayuk is down in 28th.
Although Lytle and Burrell might team up here to try to make a little run together. We'll see.
They could, but those guys both have to pit. I just think this race might have just fallen into Nick Massey's hands.
Oh, no, absolutely. I was just thinking that these two might try to get together to close up on Rich and Lutz up here for first and second.
Still the ever-looming threat of a caution preventing us from having a crazy fuel-oriented run to the finish. Can't help but wonder if Ryan Lutz doesn't, cut out a few gallons of fuel taking on. He doesn't have to have all, 20 gallons of fuel in that car, 18 maybe. He doesn't have to have everything, right? He could take 2 tires. He could do anything to get extra track position to try to run those guys down who are saving fuel. If Ryan Lutz is able to do that, I think that would be absolutely massive.
And the thing is, we're looking at 10 to 15 laps for those guys to come down again, so we're not too far away from that original group hitting pit road once again.
Yeah, and if you have to come down, if you're Ryan Lutz, if you're Ethan Burrell, Tate Lytle, why not wait just a little bit? Why not let that caution maybe come out with 10 laps to go? Because as the intensity ramps up to the end of the race, you could hold off just a little bit. You don't have to come down at lap 67, right, with that perfect division. But what we've seen is that these guys need every lap they can on that fresh rubber to chase down the leaders. And Ryan Lutz was only at 6th when lap 50 hit, and those guys started running out of gas and coming down pit road. So it's going to be a very, very close one here coming down to the wire, whether or not Ryan Lutz can run down these race leaders who are going to be saving fuel, no doubt, trying to make sure they make it to the end.
Maybe I would almost say somewhere around lap 75 might be that perfect sweet spot, Dave, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think that would actually, extending your run, even just that 6 or 7 laps is going to really help your ability to, make it to the end. You can run run a lot harder into these corners and really just shove it in. I guess Josh Adams he's the one who really kicked it off. Let's stayed a little bit longer. Adams kicked it off though. I mean, he was lap 33 down pit road, so does he continue that trend?
He just got passed by Lytle and Burrell.
That's still above where he was before, so therein be's the question of can Adams gain from this, and it looks like right now that he has gained. Though I think both of those spots that he did gain are Massey and Wright, who stayed out, conserving fuel. Big pack back here with Wright and Massey. It doesn't look like they're saving any fuel. Massey maybe. Massey might be saving right now, right behind Johnny Thomas.
Yeah, once again, I just went and checked out the 48 car. He is letting off entering the corner just a little bit. Not as much as he was at the end of that first run, but he is saving just a touch entering the corners.
I think, and he's definitely saving in the draft, right? Probably running 3/4 throttle down each straightaway right here in tow of Johnny Thomas, trying to make sure he makes it all the way to the end and is able to pick up that time on Ryan Lutz. The question for me is, what does Lutz do on this pit stop? Because Ryan Lutz can absolutely influence these guys and what they do. He can be charging close to them, exiting, ending this upcoming run, right? Ending the race. Lutz will be getting close to them, I think, on track. And so if these guys have to run harder because Lutz is close to them, do they run out of gas? Are they, struggling with the tires, the older tires, 50 laps? Because I think they could be. With Lutz, bearing down on them. Well here is Ryan Lutz. Is Lutz losing time to Cameron Rich? It looks like Cameron Rich is eating into the lead of Ryan Lutz. I think he is. I think Cameron Rich is running Ryan Lutz down a little bit. I think got passed by Josh Clark right there. That kind of ended that. I think Massey's still slashing through traffic. Let's look at kind of do a quick maybe through the back end of the top 10 here. We talked about the front four all day long. Maybe we'll switch up to number 5, Colin Fambro. That car has been in the top 10 all race long. We haven't really seen any of the race-winning speed from the 5 car all year, but strong run today. And something maybe to build on moving forward through the chase here as he tries to help his teammates win a championship. Next car is Matthew Weeks. He's been in the top 5 all day after pit stops back to 6th, but that 11 car looking good as always, and then I think he'll have something to say for him once this race gets down close to the end. Another guy who's been really impressive today, though, is that 7th place car, Nick Indelicato. Up to 7th from deep in the field. He's driven a whale of a race, and that guy might have something for the leaders at the end of this thing, though. I think he'll be fighting to get into the top 10 with guys staying out, trying to make this a one-stop race. Brandon Key in 8th in the 6 car. That's a bit of a surprising run. Key's been strong today. He's been just outside the top 10. Worked his way in and running in front of a couple of guys who are pretty fast, especially here at a place like Auto Club. So an impressive run for Key in his return to iRacing. Josh Robin right behind him in the 9th spot. Robin, I was kind of expecting for Robin to jump into ERSCA and jump right close to the front, but he struggled a little bit, and a 9th place run today is definitely refreshing. 10th place Thomas Sherman has been the bearer of bad luck, I would say, throughout this season. He has had such a whale of rough time, and then the guy behind him had a really good fortune at Daytona, picked up a race win, Joe Francis. But those guys running 10th and 11th, maybe you have 15th or 12th, 15th place speed, but they're able to kind of run here in the top 10, and we'll get them some TV time and show them off as they're having a good, strong run so far today. The story to me, as Robin goes after Key, the story to me is, well, first off, it's this guy right here, our Michigan winner, Tate Lytle. He is up to second as Cameron Rich is going to come down pit road a little bit early. I wonder if this is too early. We'll see how far behind Massey and Wright Cameron Rich is, and can he undercut Lutz? Key coming down as well.
It is going to be an interesting call. Lytle was running down Rich. He was going to make the pass for the 2nd place spot regardless if Rich decided to come down pit road or not.
Yep, the question is can Cameron Rich catch Nick Massey? We have to be aware of where Massey is. Massey and Wright, those two right there, those are the guys that Cameron Rich has to run down in 35 laps.
Here comes Lutz and Lytle.
Yep, Lutz and Lytle making their way down pit road as well. They got undercut by that 46 car. They cannot afford to stay out any longer. So they don't lose any time to Cameron Rich, but Ethan Burrell does, as Burrell stays out to lead a lap. Chris Wright enters the top 10. Keep your eye on that 69 car as we work our way towards the end of this race. He is the first car, I believe, of this group on the one-stop strategy. Wright and Massey right there, nose to tail, as here comes Ethan Burrell and Colin Fambro. Matthew Weeks will stay out to lead a lap. And that'll be further spots for Wright and Massey to try to make this thing on one stop.
Rich is going around Lytle and Lutz right now, so.
Wow. One lap, that's all it took. Rich able to capitalize on just that one lap and make his way by. We might have to jump to that battle, Carlos. I don't know.
We'll see. Lutz is just getting ready to get back up to speed. So they're exiting turn 4 right now, and it's pretty good distance between the two at the moment.
Look at that. That's one lap. Cameron Rich pitted 1 lap before Ryan Lutz and Tate Lytle. Lytle was passing Cameron Rich as he came to pit road. And just like that, Cameron Rich jumps way out in front with pretty much equal tires. So the one lap difference in those tires is all it takes. Cameron Rich now the top car chasing down the one-stop attempt. Lutz will also be going hard after those guys. Tate Lytle, I certainly wouldn't count him out. He was, obviously, I've talked about it, our race winner. And last time we were at a 2-mile big super speedway type track.
Nick and Delicato is all over the back of Weeks here for the race lead.
Yeah, somewhat. It's a good battle, but a somewhat irrelevant one. If Delicato can take the lead, that would be an impressive drive all the way up to the front. But what really matters is the positioning of Chris Wright and Nick Massey on in this race here. Delicato stayed out a pretty long time, but he's been running very hard this run. I don't think he's going to be making it all the way to the end of this race without pitting once again. Delicato's pulling away from Matthew Weeks too. He drove up around him and is driving on by. It's a good run for Delicato. If we ever got a caution, I think Delicato would sure have something to say about this race. Remember, we talked to Nick and Delicato back at Daytona when he got robbed of a race win. Right then, he said, "Oh, I think I'm done for the season. Don't think you guys are going to see me again." And we implored him, "Come back. You're really good. You're going to have a chance to win races." Here he is leading one of our chase races here with 30 laps to go. Robin and Francis battling for third.
David, I think if I remember right, he was, because we went to, where did we go? We went to a super speedway after the road course, right? And he had a chance. I think he was either up front or in the front three or something. He had a chance of making the playoffs even after that road course disaster.
Yeah, he sure did. He was in the top 10 at the end of that race trying to pull out. I believe he and Josh Adams trying to draft a little bit and ended up bouncing off each other and wrecking down the back straightaway, giving that win to Joe Francis on the final lap. Francis comes down pit road, cedes that top 5 spot. We still haven't seen entering the top 10 any of those drivers on 2-stop. I think Josh Adams might be the first one in that 95 car who's pitted already. So Adams about 12 seconds behind the guys who are looking to make this race on 1-stop, Chris Wright and Nick Massey. Matthew Weeks comes down pit road. He will cede that 2nd spot to Chris Wright, and that means that the 1-stop cars are now, I think, 2 and 3, and 4 if Gerald Campbell can make it, 5 if Johnny Thomas can make it. I think that might be it, though. I don't recall if Jared Mogard was able to go all the way to lap 50.
How about a run for Johnny right now?
Yeah, it looks like Carlos confirming that Jared Mogard did make it to lap 50. So a 0-0, one of those guys who can make it all the way. That could shift the points pretty drastically as well. Bayuk trying for it. James Heater trying for it. But with Josh Adams already passed some of those guys, that could throw a bit of a wrench in things.
How about the run for Johnny right now, though, running in the top 5?
Johnny Thomas, P5, doing great. He's going to try to make this thing on 1-stop, too, and I felt like that was the strategy if you could do it. I just didn't know if you could. I didn't think anybody thought you could make it on 1-stop. You were really going to have to pit twice for the most part. And these guys are proving them wrong. I think they've been saving since the beginning, especially Massey and Wright. Those guys have really been out of the throttle early. A little bit of a battle for the lead, and Dylan Thomas is entering this fray. Johnny Thomas and Dylan Thomas's numbers look very similar. 83-03. Dylan Thomas definitely is already hit. Battle for 10th. Cameron Rich around Matthew Bayuk. Ryan Lutz right behind him. This is the chase right here. They are 20 seconds behind, 11 seconds behind, 12 seconds behind Chris Wright. So if Cameron Rich and Ryan Lutz can run down Chris Wright and Nick Massey in the last 25 laps of this race, that will be the battle for the win.
It's not that, honestly, in 25 laps, that's not a huge time gap to make up.
No,
I know you're gonna have to battle getting around cars and stuff, but I'm sure that's not making Nick Massey super comfortable.
No, yeah, I think Wright and Massey are going to have their work cut out for them to save gas and hold these two off.
Unless they're saving right now, though.
Right, I think they are, but they're going to be losing about maybe a half second to a second a lap, maybe more. With 25 to go, these guys are going to have time to run them down, but there is that ever possible caution.
I'm wondering if, you said that they probably are, David, but I'm wondering if they think that they are going to catch and they're trying to save as much fuel for that battle if Rich and them get there.
Yep, therein lies the question. Is Delicato coming down pit road? I don't know. And Delicato's staying out. He's likely holding off as long as he can. What did he pit? 42? holding off as long as he can, I think. Just trying to hope for that caution to come out and give him that track position. There's Wright and Massey, the battle for second. They are eating into the lead of Indelicato. Lutz and Rich now just 10 seconds behind them. Thomas and Campbell, 4th and 5th, trying to save the fuel and make it all the way to the end. And here's Rich and Lutz trying to get around Adams next. And Lutz trying to put some pressure on that 47 car. Really will be remarkable if Ryan Lutz can come all the way back. Indelicato tries to get on pit road. He spins the 0-1. Will not bring out a caution.
I think that's the new pit road strategy right there.
Indelicato has some issues on pit road, I would say. Got a little damage to the 1 car, just a tough break, as he is not going to be winning this one, unfortunately. And Chris Wright now the race leader. The 2 fastest cars on track right now have streamed around Josh Adams, put them in 7th and 8th, and they are hunting Chris Wright. Just under 10 seconds now is this battle. Ryan Lutz is going to take it from Cameron Rich. Lutz is on a mission right now, trying to win this championship, trying to pad his points lead. Man, what happened to Indelicato? Looks like he's okay. Looks like he locks him up right there. The rear end damage must have happened before. Into 6th goes Ryan Lutz. Mogard will not be winning this one. Nick Massey just took the lead.
Yes, he did. Just drove around teammate Chris Wright. There goes Indelicato getting his lap back.
All that time lost on pit road, and Indelicato made it work for him. He's going to get his lap back. Even if a caution comes out, he won't be trapped a lap down. Unless he's 2 down. Nope, he's on the lead lap again. Auto Club, such a big track. Brandon Scott down pit road, I believe. Oh, Jared Mogard pits with 20 to go. So he won't be trying for this.
Interesting call.
Lutz up to 5th, 8 seconds behind race leader Nick Massey. Ryan Lutz eating into that Nick Massey lead. Every lap, it's getting, the lead is shrinking quicker and quicker. And the question now is, do Massey and Wright have enough in the tank at the end of this race to put up a fight? These two are working together. They're trying to draft, trying to find any which way to save fuel. Massey trying to make it work. I mean, even if they get passed by Lutz and Rich, they picked up those points at the halfway mark, then they're going to finish top 5, I think, regardless. This would be a quality finish for these guys, even if they can't pull off the race win.
Well, it would definitely put Massey into 2nd in the championship. I think Wright would benefit more than Massey would if Lutz were able to get by.
If Lutz gets by, I mean, that's all she wrote. It feels like the way Ryan Lutz is going, he's the favorite every race. All that we can do is see if anybody's got anything for him. They have to do these special strategies. You have to find some way to do it, because even when Cameron Rich comes off pit road with 1 lap fresher tires, Ryan Lutz still gets up at the wheel and drives right back by him. How far behind these guys is Ryan Lutz? Another good question. As Thomas and Campbell trying to work together from 3rd and 4th to save enough fuel to make it to the end. I don't know if Johnny's going to be able to have enough. I think he pitted at 45. 48, that's still...
It's going to be stretching it. He's
pretty
going to
much
have to
catch.
really save.
So, yeah, and Campbell ran out of fuel, as we recall.
So out of those 4, though, Massey and Wright are the best on fuel mileage.
Yep.
They got about 2 more laps to the good.
Will it matter? Is the big question, I think, for these guys. Ryan Lutz's only 6 seconds back. He's got 17 laps to make that up. He's eating into this lead every lap.
That time was only about 0.2 of a second, though. So, oh, it was 4. Okay.
0.4 of a second last lap. So maybe not enough time for Ryan Lutz. Let me do some quick math.
Those tires might be wearing off a little bit. He might be able to get there, but getting there and getting around him is going to be a whole nother story.
Yeah. Fody, that guy's my team owner over in Elite Racing. You'll see those on Monday and Wednesday nights. Ryan Lutz, not one of those drivers, but Tate Lytle, Ethan Burrell, Nick Massey, Chris Wright, they double dip. See a lot of your favorite drivers over there. Ryan Lutz now down to 5.5 seconds. He picked up all 4/10 in that last lap, and I think another 2/10 here of late. He is really coming.
Yeah, he picked up over 0.5 second that time. $15 to go this time by.
15 laps, 5.25 seconds for Ryan Lutz to make up, and he's making them up about 0.4 to a half second per lap. Should be enough to get him to the back bumper of those leaders, but will they make the back bumper wide with the points leader coming up?
Oh, they're definitely going to do all they can to keep him behind him. That's for sure.
Yeah. And how much can they do, though, at a big wide track like Auto Club? Not like Martinsville, where you can hog the line everybody wants to go to. Brian Lutz can stream to the top of the racetrack and move around those guys. He can do it with ease. Tough part's going to be handling some of these guys in front of him. Johnny Thomas bails. Thomas bails on the top 5, heads down pit road. That will cede 4th to Ryan Lutz. 4.75 seconds now. Yep, and that means that Colin Fambro is the first driver not in the playoffs on the grid in 8th place. Fambro's been in the top 10 all day. Had a good run. Battle for 3rd brewing. Ryan Lutz has caught Gerald Campbell. And I imagine that when Lutz gets to Wright and Massey, this is what it's going to look like. Just not much Gerald Campbell can do on those older tires. And while saving fuel.
Under 4.5 seconds now with 13 to go.
It's all on Ryan Lutz right now. He's only got 4 seconds to drive up and take the lead away from a couple of guys who've tried to swindle it from him. Massey's going to get, I believe, the most laps led in this race.
So we're trying to do quick math here. Lutz would get there with about 4 to go. If he continues on the pace he's going.
Math graphic up, but I think that's just too much time. I don't think these guys are going to be able to hold off the fresh tires for that long. Lutz is going to need to make a mistake, and if we know anything about Ryan Lutz, he doesn't make those mistakes. He's up to 3rd, and the win is on the line. The bait is on the hook. He's coming hard for it. Down to 3.7 seconds. The gap between Massey, Wright, and then Ryan Lutz. Where does this time by? I think Lutz only picked up about a 10th that time.
No, Yeah, he
Indy
cut
5.
just less than 4/10. So
Tough for Lutz. He's losing a little bit more time as those tires keep wearing.
traffic here for Massey.
Yeah, that's not helping these leaders. They need this traffic to get out of their way, let this lead play out. That cut about a 3/10 of the lead off right there. Closing graphic, the double wide camera. Cody in the chat. This might be closer than you thought. I believe so, Tyler. Ryan Lutz is going to be there really late. 3 seconds, the gap between Massey, Wright, and Lutz.
Yeah, he's not making up that half a second anymore. It's just a little under, but it's going to get there with about 3 to 4 to go. It's going to be interesting.
There's enough time. Enough time for Lutz to get there and enough time for him to jump up top and pass those guys. It's a matter of, do those guys drive, I won't want to say dirty, but do they make their rear bumpers very wide? Awfully wide. Only 0.288 that time.
Uh-oh. It's going to make it tougher.
The gap just not closing nearly as much as it was before. It's going to come down to the wire. The box for Lutz, very confident they're going to make it to him.
Kind of interesting here, David. I don't know if this is going to play a factor or not, but Zishan's just hanging back here behind Wright and Massey right now.
Yeah, Brandon Scott just drove by Lutz. That's going to cost him a little bit of time.
So I don't know if Zishan's trying to play a part in this or he's just not able to hang with Massey and what's going on here, but he's just hanging right behind Chris Wright.
Only 1/10 that time, I believe, between Lutz and Massey. Those guys, I think, have turned it on up front.
That's what I was saying. I think they got the word that they got to go.
Yep. Give it all you got here. You can't let that 36 catch you, because if he does, I think he can drive right on by you. You just have to keep that gap.
I think this is a good simulation of what would have happened 2 weeks ago in actual NASCAR. Chris Wright to the lead.
Yep, Wright drives around Massey.
With
huge move.
With Almirola and Bell. Everyone thought that Bell was coming, but at some point you knew Almirola was going to step back into it and really start pushing again. That could be the case here with Wright and Massey on Ryan Lutz.
Well, that move, just that short amount of time they were side by side, gave Lutz about 0.3 of a second to them. Anytime they spend battling, that's more time for Ryan Lutz to catch him. Not anymore. They might have swapped the leads that Massey can make it to the end, because the second car in line not going to be nearly as wasteful on the fuel. And they also have to deal with traffic. Brandon Scott's driven up and around them. They've still got Zishan Dura to mess with. Lutz is going to have to clear through all that.
Yeah, Zishan's really puzzling me here because he just could have took a run to go around him, and he laid off and laid back. So
I think he's probably just letting the leaders run. He's not trying to put any pressure on the leaders. Trying to be a good back partner.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be really tight now for Lutz. He probably lost a lap or two getting there.
Yeah, the real question, Tyler Cody just brought it up in the chat. Do these guys run out of fuel now? Have they pushed too hard trying to hold Lutz back? And are they going to run themselves out of fuel, right? Because Massey just dropped behind Wright to try to save it. They're trying to clutch it. That could open the door for Ryan Lutz because they pushed too hard too early. 4 laps to go.
I don't know. I feel my thinking is that maybe Lutz was closing so fast because they were saving just a little bit longer because they knew he was going to be there at some point. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
1.5 seconds the gap between Lutz and Massey. Can't quite sniff the draft just yet, but he'll be there soon.
It's going to be with about 3 to go.
Maybe a couple more. You see him right there. You can see Lutz in the rearview mirror.
We said 4 originally. I think Lutz lost a lap or so dealing with the car that got by him. Now he's coming up on Zishan here.
I think it's
More
going
to
to be
go.
whether or not, it might be whether or not these two can, it might be whether or not these two have saved enough fuel. Though I think Lutz might be there on the white flag lap. That might be the time he actually makes it.
Well, and
1.2
this
is now
is-
the gap.
If you have any communication with Massey and right now, it's you got to give it everything you got. Who cares about running out of fuel right now? You got to keep Lutz behind you.
Yep.
Gotta
And
go for it.
Massey just needs to hold Lutz up a little bit, and he can get his teammate the win. It's just a matter of can he hold him back at all? You know, this track's so wide, so easy to pass if you have that tire advantage, which Ryan Lutz does. They're within the same camera shot now.
It was
1
about
second.
2 to 3 tenths that time for Ryan Lutz.
This is an impressive drive by Lutz if he can make it all the way back to the race lead from having to pit an entire extra time.
2 to 3 tenths isn't going to get it done though.
Yep, he's gonna, and especially because he's gonna have to go side by side with Massey. He probably needs Wright to bobble or run out of fuel. Oh man, it's close. He's still not to the
He's
back
only
bumper of
gained
Massey
at
yet.
this point. He's only gained a tenth on these guys. Now it's down to almost 2 here.
Ooh-wee.
He just really closed up on Massey though.
Yeah, but you only have so much time. 2 laps to go.
2 to
He's
go.
got to get around Massey this lap. He's got to get around Wright next lap, and Wright's pulling away.
Wright is pulling away big time.
Chris Wright doing everything he can to hold the points leader back. Here comes Lutz to the outside of Massey.
He's going to get him. He's got Massey here off the corner.
Yep, and Massey not able to hold it back. He's got 1 lap to catch and pass Chris Wright.
How much run can he get into the corner?
He can give it everything and more compared to that 69 car. That car's on very old tires. Gas, you don't know how much is in it. Wright's got nothing left. 1 lap to go. Can Ryan Lutz get there? It's going to be really close. He's 4 tenths behind, and that's about what he's gaining per lap.
David, you called it before we went on the air pre-race. We are going to go caution-free here at Auto Club Speedway. Green to checkered. Will Ryan Lutz get there on Chris Wright? Coming out of turn 2, he's going to get a run. Can he close up? I think he's going to be there down the backstretch.
We're about to get a last lap pass for the win in turn 3. Ryan Lutz is going to go after Chris Wright. Will Wright throw any blocks? If he does, he's going to get himself wrecked. Here comes Lutz down to the inside.
Dive bomb by Wright. He's going to slide up. Lutz!
Oh, they made
Wright
contact.
made contact. Oh,
Can
who's going
Wright
to get the
stay in it?
run? Who's going to get the run? Lutz is going to get it. Wright's out. Wright's out of gas.
Oh, Wright runs out of fuel on the final lap. Ryan Lutz is going to win at California. Massey second, Wright third. Wow. Tate Lytle's going to finish 4th. Cameron Rich 5th. Ethan Burrell 6th. Colin Fambrough 7th. Campbell coasts across an 8th. What a finish by those guys. We're going to have to take a couple of replays of that one. Ryan Lutz runs up down with a run of a lifetime. Passes Chris Wright with a half lap to go.
Well, David, we went from our season high in cautions to our season low in cautions within a week.
That's the quality of this league. They put the medal down. They put their minds to not having a caution in this race. They made it work. What a finish. The battle there coming out of turn 4. Contact made. I mean, Wright tries everything, tries to pinch Lutz down. I think he was going to have a chance if that car stays under power. But you can see it just completely die off right here. He's completely unable to get down to the side of Lutz. Right there, you see Massey getting a huge run. Wright just completely out of gas. It's all Ryan Lutz from there on. Well, Emily, you haven't had to say anything all night long, but because of no cautions, but you'll get to interview these winners.
You guys, I should have just stayed in Mexico for another day. I don't know why I came back yesterday.
Just an insane race there. That was the greatest part of racing, when you can have a race develop like that, where 2 strategies coincide on the final lap.
I just love the extremes, like we were talking about pre-race. You know how last week was 22 cautions and this week was 0. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought there would be a few cautions, but this was a fun one here tonight.
That was as entertaining as a green flag only race can be. That was extremely well done by these guys. Ryan Lutz finishing up his burnouts and celebrations for this race win, his second in a row. And nobody picked him, and I questioned it right then.
I
Guess
guarantee you someone will pick him next week.
Oh, yeah.
Carlos is excited. He picked Cameron Rich. He's picked 2 in a row in the top 5.
Yep, I tried to get to sneak Bayuk in there. He ends up 15th. Just didn't quite have it for him tonight. And we get to talk to both of those Rubbins Racing Motorsports Chevys and see what their thought process was as Ryan Lutz was bearing down on them. So we'll send it down to Emily and let her pull up the second and third place cars.
Hey, Chris, do you have a copy?
Yep. What's up, guys?
All right. Hey, so just give us your impressions on how this one went, especially those last few laps for you.
Well, it was a fun race, caution-free, way better than last week at Martinsville. The strategy just when everybody started short pitting, I knew it was going to be close. So right before pit stops at the middle of the race, Nick and Gerald and we were just running down halfway down the straightaway, clutching it. Like we just were saving hard to get there. I didn't save anything on that last run as far as hitting the clutch or shutting it off. I just was really easy on it, and we were basically worried about our tires. Didn't think he'd get that close, but when he did, we really couldn't save there at the end. So I needed, I guess, half a straightaway?
Yeah, that one was a close one. How did you, what was kind of going through your mind? What were you trying to do to keep him from passing you?
Really just not fall off. You know, like the main concern through that whole last run was tires. You know, I didn't start worrying about fuel until inside of 10 to go, you know, and by that point, I knew it was going to be close. Still had numbers in the fuel tank, but once it gets down to like 0.3, 0.2, it starts sputtering. So we were still had some fuel, but not enough for it to go somewhere off of 4.
Well, I remember a few races ago, you were kind of giving us all a hard time for not choosing you to win or to finish in the top 3. What kind of confidence does this top 3 finish give you for the remaining races?
The confidence was never hurt. You know, we just had a bad race. You know, we were leading in wreck last week at Martinsville. That sucked, but it's just Lutz is the one guy that we need to have a bad race, and you know, him being there when we ran out of gas and not somebody else, that stings a little bit. I mean, we made up good points on everybody else. You know, the one-stop strategy was, I think, the way to go unless you're Ryan Lutz.
So does Ryan Lutz have a target on his back next week?
I wouldn't call it a target, but everybody knows they need something to happen to that guy for him not to get points, not to, you know, because now it's probably a 20-point gap over second. You know, with the car counts, he can lose all that in one race, and we still do have Talladega out there, so we'll see what happens.
Before we let you go, are there any shout-outs you would like to give tonight?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast. I know you guys worked through some issues there, and I know that you're up here every week, Emily, coming and talking to us. Dom, Carlos, Westergreen. I appreciate you guys coming out and putting this thing on. Everybody at Belly Up Sports. Johnny runs a great league, and Chairgating.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time tonight, and congratulations on coming in third.
All right, thanks, guys. Hopefully it was a good show for you.
It was, always. All right, with that, I am going to bring in our second place finisher, Nick Massey. Hey, Nick, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, well, hey, just your impressions on how this one went for you tonight, specifically, though, those last few laps.
I would have been a lot better if I could have finished one spot better and beat Lutz. He's just been lights out these first couple of races, man. It's going to be tough to beat. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Me and Chris were on the same strategy there on the fuel. And we were both trying to keep Lutz back there, pace ourselves, and not run out, which we both did coming out turn 4.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I know with the fact that there were no cautions, obviously fuel strategy and tire strategy was a big issue. So what kind of was going through your head in that aspect?
On the last lap.
Just throughout the race on fuel,
Oh.
and fuel and tire strategy.
Well, when everybody started pitting, I figured, I would try to get the stage points, get halfway, and at least get those points. And I did. I beat Lutz by like half a second to the line. I was coming down pit road. It was close, but I just didn't factor in the whole pit road trip there on that last lap. But it was really close on fuel. I thought I was going to run out and not make it to halfway. And then at the end, I didn't think I'd have to save as much as I did. And then me and Chris were both pushing each other and trying to stay in front of Lutz as he was coming up through there on tires. But I thought I was going to be able to get him out of 4. I saw they made contact. And then I think Chris started sputtering on fuel. And then I started sputtering too. I think if I had enough fuel to get to the line, I might have been able to get maybe door-to-door with Lutz. But
Right. Well, I know Dom chose you to be the winner tonight. Thought you were going to have a good race tonight. Did you feel confident coming into this one here tonight?
I appreciate that, Dom. Honestly, what's that? Honestly, like not really. Like I used to be good here, but then they changed the whole dynamic track and everything like that, and I could never really figure it out. And then in qualifying, I put down the pole by almost a 10th, I think, and I was like, oh, I might be pretty good tonight, and that kind of was a confidence booster, and just tried to take care of the tires. I wasn't really expecting it to go green the whole way. I know we usually have longer green flag runs here, which kind of plays into my driving style, I guess. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, I asked this question to Chris. Does Ryan Lutz have a target on his back next race?
Man, I think he's the one everybody's trying to beat right now. He's just been lights out. Somebody's got to take it. We might have to start setting bounties or something. I don't know what the deal is, but it might be time for that because he's just running away with this championship right now. It's gonna be a heck of a battle for second right now.
Well, it'll definitely be fun here on out. Hey, before we let you go, Nick, are there any shout-outs you would like to give tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Chris. Racing him on that strategy is a lot of fun. Shout out to all my teammates, Josh, Brandon, Colin. Shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and congrats to Lutz too, by the way.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the time, Nick, and congratulations on coming in second tonight.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right. And with that, I'm going to bring in our race winner, Ryan Lutz. Hey, Ryan, do you have a copy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, 2 weeks in a row here, coming out on top. How good does this one feel to you?
This is probably my most exciting way, man. I'm pumped up.
Why? Okay, so tell me, why is this one the most exciting? Why are you so pumped up for this one?
Honestly, in practice, I didn't think I had that great of a car. I was struggling, and it took me a while to figure it out, and we qualified 4th, and I thought we would run, I don't know, 6th to 8th, and Damien was on the box for me tonight, and he calmed me down and really made me figure out the racetrack. And in the beginning, I was kind of just riding there and trying to stay at the right front and probably going about 50% until I turned it on and pulled away from him. And I seem to always call the wrong races when it comes to pit strategy, but Damien did an awesome job. And, he's like old reliable. He always comes out when the time's right, and the time was certainly right, and called the perfect pit strategy, and I just hit my marks with no mistakes for 100 laps, and I can't believe we got there.
Well, speaking of Damien, he and a couple other guys were going off for you in the chat on YouTube. Somebody called that you were going to come out on top, and everyone was saying, I don't know, it's getting pretty close. And Damien said, trust me, I'm calling it, just trust me, Lutz is going to win. And you did. So I guess kudos to him and to you for this win here tonight. Take me through those last couple laps of you coming up, closing in on Nick, closing in on Chris.
It was some guy named Tyler Fody, by the way, Lutz.
Yeah. Really just at the end, the last 15, I was kind of panicking a little bit. I was like, dude, this is all I got. And if we catch them, we catch them. If not, it's a good points day. And they slowly started coming back to us. And he was like, just keep hitting your marks, man. You're gonna get there. And I never missed my mark. I always hit. I think we were 10th off every lap, and just really as smooth as I can be. And I said, if we get there, we get there. If they run out, they run out. And, if we don't get there, it's a good points day. And luckily, we took. I got Massey pretty quick, which was. I knew when I got by Massey quick that it was going to be. I was going to fire it in turn 3, and if we wrecked, we wrecked. At that point, for me, the points is off. I wanted to win, and that's what I'm pumped up about. Is we actually got the job done too. And Chris did his job in 3. If he would have had fuel, he probably would have beat us. I about lost it, and it was just focus and hit your lines. You know, it seems to me like I always do pretty well under pressure and always hit my marks, and that's what we were able to do. And I think he slipped up a little bit off too, and that's what opened the door for us after 3.
Dave, Dom, and I were talking pre-race, making our picks, and your name did come up, and I was one that said, you know, he won last week. I don't know that we've ever had a repeat winner. I just don't know what the chances are. And here you are, repeat winner. Nick and Chris were both saying that you are the guy to beat from here on out. So are you feeling any pressure right now for the remaining races, or does this just boost your confidence even more?
With me, I always do pretty well under confidence. When I win one, I seem to win many, and I knew I was pumped up when I saw the chase schedule. I knew that Indy's a really good track for me. I ran second there at the Brickyard with Tyler Fody, and Talladega's any man's game. And then I think we got Richmond, which is one of my favorite racetracks, and we got, I think it's Vegas, and all those are good tracks for me. You know, Dega's a wild card, but you never know, and I'm pumped up for it. Indy's a good track for us, just like Auto Club was a pretty good track for us. And like I told you last week and the week before that, if I was them, I'd be pretty nervous, because when I get confidence, it's pretty big. And I'm pumped up about it, and this confidence will definitely carry over for next week.
Awesome. I love that. I'm stoked for you. Before we let you go, are there any shout outs you'd like to give? Yeah,
huge shout out to Damian Leininger. He is one of my best friends, and he calls an awesome race all the time. We won a championship in the league together, and just really all kudos to him. I was going to call the wrong strategy before he did, and I wouldn't have won this race without him. Ryan Lutz Designs, Natural Designs, Fat Fluid Podcast, Damian Leininger, Tyler Fody, everyone at Apex Sim Racing, you, Emily, Dom, David, Carlos, you guys do an awesome job. Johnny with ERSCA Belly Up Sports. Just thanks to Nick and Chris for running me clean. The 47 with Rich, you're in an awesome race right with me there. Just everyone at ERSCA, it's always fun, and look forward to the next 4.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the time tonight, Ryan, and congratulations on another win.
Thank you so much.
Well, guys, that was a really clean race, and with a great, fantastic finish. Let's get some final thoughts, I guess, before we head off, and we can take a quick look at the final running order. Chasers, I think, finished 9 of the top 10 spots, with just Colin Fambro being the only non-chaser.
Yeah, I think there's a reason they're sitting high in the points, and that's because each and every week, every Monday night, they come out and they put on a good run and get up here towards the top of the results, and it showed again here tonight, especially with the green flag run, and definitely made it exciting watching the strategies play out, and they both timed up at the perfect time there on the white flag lap.
Yep, big shout out to like Josh Robin, Joe Francis, Thomas Sherman outside the top 10 there, Brandon Key with a good run, Bayukin, Heater, not really able to improve their chase standings. Same for Jared Mogard, who had to pit late. All the way back, Scott Crump, who had some issues getting onto pit road, ended up running out of gas. He'll finish 25th. We saw Zishan Dura kind of in the race there for the win. He finishes 28th. Check him as we go back down. And the only driver to have any substantial trouble is Travis Braden. Very clean race. 32 cars finish, all of them within 1 lap of the leader. And that sets things up. Talladega is coming up. I don't think it's the next race. Got to check it real quick.
Oh, we go to Indy next week.
Indianapolis next week. Then it'll be Talladega, Richmond, and then Las Vegas to settle things. Indy's a little bit of a wild card. Lutz definitely the kind of guy who can run well at these track position tracks, but it depends on whether or not the battle for the lead gets even more intense, especially after something like tonight with the very crazy finish that could have very well gone against Ryan Lutz had he lost that car in turn 4.
It's crazy to think we're down to just 4 more races.
4 more races to decide the championship. Is anybody going to beat Ryan Lutz?
It's going to be tough. They're going to have to find something. They're all going to have to dig deep here in this next week.
Alrighty. Final thoughts from Emily.
Well, I'm just enjoying this graphic that Carlos just put up for me. Emily, asleep on the job, Harlan. That is very, very true with how this one went tonight. I also just want to say that I see Tate Lytle in our waiting room. I don't know if he was waiting to say something to us or if someone pulled him up to chat, but
He's just talking to those guys.
got it.
Yep. But yes, you're right, Carlos. I am going to go check on that Cubs trade. It looks like the Cubs made one of their trades. They started to sell. I'm excited. But for me, I'm excited for Indy. I think Talladega is the looming threat, though, where you can completely dismantle the points with one quick last lap wreck. That's all it takes. Ryan Lutz has been pretty fortunate in those, and all it takes is one to not go his way. Dom, final thoughts?
It was a good one. Fun to watch. Glad to finally get one caution-free this season and see it all pan out under the green flag. I agree with you, David. Talladega is definitely going to be the big wild card coming up. Excited to go to Indianapolis, and it's going to be an interesting thing to watch going through the next 4 weeks to see if anyone can stop this 36 machine in this tear that I feel like he might be getting on.
Sounds good to me. Well, join us next week, same time, same place. This has been Carlos Acosta, Dom Santina, Emily Harlan. I am David Westergreen. Tune in next week from Belly Up Sports and 3Y TV for another episode of ERSCA with 4 races left in the championship. Good night, everybody.